Hey, what's up? There are a ton of awesome resources for veterans and military family members. We all know that. There's almost too many resources. But it is real estate month. We're talking about real estate. So it would make sense for us to talk about housing related resources. Housing related resources. And I'm talking about everything from you need short-term immediate housing solutions. You need a roof over your head. You're looking for a new place. You're looking to buy your first place. You're looking to upgrade. Your family's expanding. Maybe you're ready for the next iteration of your housing situation. There are resources that can help you, veterans and military family members, navigate all of those things. There's a ton of them. There's almost too many to think about. That's why we brought in an expert, and she's about to log in here. Jane Babcock is an absolute pro. She's like the veteran services expert in Wisconsin, a veteran services expert. So very, very excited, very pleased to invite her back on the show. She's been on before. She's just like a wealth. She has a wealth of knowledge. So make sure you come armed with your questions about either getting or upgrading the roof over your head. We're going to get into it right after this. I'm back. Overarchingly, I'm back. Very, very, very excited to be back. I was on vacation last week, so for those of you that watch the show routinely and Bill pops in, there's nobody better than Jane. It's true. She really is the pro. And I hope she's not having any issues signing on here because she hasn't logged in quite yet. But hey, I'm more than happy to gab for a minute or two until she gets here. That's no problem. I was on vacation last week, so you had very special guest host. For those of you that watched last week, our president and CEO Saul Newton was the man for this. Like he did a good job. I was able to watch some of it. Jane's just reaching out to me. She's having a little bit of tech difficulties. Gotta resend the link, man. You know how it goes. I'm gonna invite her. Here we go. She's coming on right now. But yeah, Saul guest hosted last week talking about, it was our very last week in legal month, talking about Veterans Treatment Court, which was really interesting. So if you didn't watch that one, there's a lot of really great information about Veterans Treatment Court, which for many folks is a last option to help them get out of a cycle of crime or substance abuse or whatever post-service. Really interesting. So head back to our YouTube channel. Just search in YouTube Wisconsin Veterans Chamber. You'll come up with us. We're pretty famous over there. No big deal. Whatever. And check that out, and check out our entire body of work. But yeah, last week it was Saul with JC Moore talking about Veterans Treatment Court. And it looks like Jane is logging on here in a second. And while we're waiting for her to get here to talk about veteran housing resources, while I have you as a captive audience, that's pretty exciting. We have some events coming up. I really would love to see all of your shining, beautiful faces at our upcoming live events. We've got a ton of stuff. We're going to be in La Crosse in a couple weeks. Then we're going to be in Madison. Then we have a nationwide virtual veteran entrepreneurship forum event. Then we're going to be in Franklin, Wisconsin, co-hosting a cyclocross, like an off-road biking event with Wheel and Sprocket and on Milwaukee. Then we're going to be in downtown Milwaukee. Then we got our business conference coming up. We got the Wisconsin Veterans Day Parade, which we are now running We took it and ran with it. We got a real estate summit coming up. We have an apprenticeship career symposium coming up. Holy moly, we've got a ton of really exciting events. Some are free, some cost a little bit of money. They always cost less if you're a member. We have exhibitor booth opportunities at 3, soon to be 4 of our events. And we do have some limited sponsorship opportunities as well. So if you want exclusive co-branding opportunities, if you want, like, let's say the real estate summit, if you want the Acme Tool Veterans Real Estate Summit, well, I mean, you can have that exclusive co-branding by sponsoring an event with us. Looks like Jane's on. I'm going to bring her on in just 1 second here. I appreciate your patience. It really has given me an opportunity to shamelessly plug our upcoming events. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a link right now. It's coming up to our Eventbrite page, which has the list of all of our upcoming events. And it's a ton. It's just going to get bigger. It's our most ambitious events schedule that we've ever had between now and the end of the year. We're really bringing the thunder, so hope to see you at some of those events. My friend, Jane, how are you?
I think I got a little too nervous about going to the dentist this afternoon. And my mind just left me.
You know, it happens. No worries. It's just that time of year. Everybody's trying to get back into the swing of things. Business is ramping up for everybody. Events is ramping up for everybody. We got kids going back to school. It's a crazy time. So no worries. I'm glad to have you on.
And it's a nervous time.
Yeah.
Especially with our veteran community. I mean, there's a lot, sorry about that. There's a lot of change right now that's kind of disturbing. And
well, let's talk about it. What do you mean by changes that would affect our veteran community?
Well, a lot of our folks are dealing with sense of, was this the right move? Yes, it is to get out of there, but
we're talking Afghanistan,
or commit to another 10, 20 years and a lot of money, or, and the fact that we left and maybe not everybody's out of there safely. And so there's a lot of folks wanting to throw the uniform back on and jump on a plane and go somewhere and feel like they're contributing and accomplishing.
Yeah.
But right now it's too dangerous to do that.
And like you said, the question of what was it for, I think is one that is haunting a lot of folks that served over there. So if you or someone is experiencing some of those doubts, some of those worries, some of those feelings, do not hesitate to please reach out to people, whether it be a professional, a trusted mentor, or a friend. Talk about it. All right. Don't hide. We're here for you. We're part of your community. Reach out to me. Reach out to the chamber. Reach out to Jane. Reach out to people. We're here for you. I know that this time, no matter which end of the political spectrum you're on, what's happening now stinks for a lot of people. So if you're having struggles with that, please don't hesitate to reach out. Housing is an issue right now in the veteran community as well. It's always an issue in the veteran community. That's why we have a ton of resources available. Do you like that segue? How I just like right back to the. But we're talking housing resources, everything from emergency shelter to buying that first home, maybe moving into your first place, maybe selling a home, maybe upgrading, whatever. There's a ton of resources out there. It's hard to know what's what. So we're hoping to have you help us navigate veteran and military family housing resources. I know you could probably talk about this all day long. So where do you want to start? Upgrading, buying a first home, just getting shelter?
Well, I think at this point we need to start with the shelter part.
Shelter. Okay. So if you're having issues with housing surety, you don't know where the roof over your head is going to come from, what do you do?
First, I would start with your state. There are a lot of states that are increasing their budget with housing vouchers and things like that to help
for veterans specifically.
Not specifically for veterans, for everybody.
Okay.
But it gives you a little bit, buy you a little time.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you can reach out to the HUD-VASH folks that are out in the veteran community. You can reach them. Your county veteran service officer or your VSO can get you in connection with them. And then they might be able to provide you some vouchers if you have to move. In my county, when I had someone that was houseless or homeless, whether it was couch surfing or straight out sleeping on the beach one night, we had a veteran brought in that had been sleeping on the beach.
Beach in
Um,
Wisconsin? That had to be chilly.
yes. Well, thank goodness it was summer, but
Yeah. Yeah, really.
I worked with the HUD-VASH folks, and they were giving him automatically emergency 3 months of vouchers to get him housed. But then they have a process where they have to go in and inspect the apartment
Mm.
in order to make sure that it has a fire detector and that it has running
Mhm.
water and all those other things. And so the HUD-VASH woman might not be able to get to us for a couple weeks, so she would give me the check sheet, and I would go out and inspect the apartment and then
Okay.
sign
So the
off that
VSO
it
can
was
do
all
that.
good.
So
Yeah.
HUD, Housing and Department of Housing and Urban Development. What's VASH? Can you tell people about what that is?
That's the VA side of the house.
So
And
it
that's the
stands
VA
for
partnering with HUD-VASH.
okay.
Okay. So you actually go to your HUD-VASH rep at your VA,
Oh,
whether it's
okay.
at the hospital, the larger clinics, and things like this. Or if you're far enough away, then you could work through the VSO and fax back and forth the paperwork, you know. And then, like I said, I could go out and do the inspection, sign off on it. They've already worked with the landlord in agreement to take the HUD-VASH vouchers. And then, depending on the program and the need, you could either get 3 months of help or you could get a year of help.
Wow. Okay.
So
And
if
is
you're
that
out there
help?
couch surfing or, God forbid, living under the bridge, please, please, please don't stay there.
Is that same day support? Like I walk into the VA, I say I need to talk to somebody that does housing, and that night I have a roof over my head, or what?
Not necessarily. They may temporarily house you depending on the need and depending on availability.
Mhm.
I mean, in some markets right now, availability of apartments is extremely tight.
Right.
You know, people are going through that fight with eviction and everything else, and they're,
Mhm.
so you may not get housed right away because, after all, if they're looking for a house for a family, they need multiple bedrooms and things like that. So, but they
You,
will try and get you housed. Your local veteran service organization and or veteran service officers, like the county, we used to be able to work out deals with our local hotels and stuff. And we might
right,
pay
right.
for 5 days, 5 nights at a hotel, and then one of our veteran service organizations might pay for 3, and perhaps the Goodwill would pay for another 3 to 5, and so we
Okay.
could get that temporary housing in place for you.
So you mentioned eviction. Unfortunately, the moratorium for evictions appears to have closed. I don't know. I haven't been following if they got it in at the last minute. Um, uh, what happens if you find yourself evicted? Is it a same situation? You're a veteran, you're a military family, you've been evicted. Is there anything you can do in advance of that to make sure you don't get booted from your house or your apartment? Or is it
Yes.
more okay, let's talk about that.
Well, first and foremost, if the eviction process is starting and it's a VA home loan, call VA.
Say that.
VA.
Say that one more time.
If you have a VA home loan
Mhm.
and that process is starting, or you know it's coming, get a hold of the VA home loan folks. And I was just trying to look up that number for you.
And
And
they can help. They can help you.
yes, yes, because they can talk to you about refinancing. They can talk to you about programs like HUDVASH and things like that. You can go to your veteran service organization or your veteran service officer there in the area. They may be able to work with getting you some funds. The bank may agree to take, you're behind 4 months on that mortgage payment. Well,
Mhm.
if you can get 2 months, will the bank then push back their deadlines? Now remember, foreclosures and evictions don't happen really quickly.
Right.
You've got to
A
go through a
scary
whole
thing, though.
process.
I bet it feels urgent.
Yes. And they will imply that it's urgent. Oh, come
Oh,
on, you're
Bill
6
hooked
months
it up. Look, he's
behind
got
and I need the money. There you go, Bill. You're awesome.
Bill hooked it up.
And
That's the number to call
yes,
if you have a VA home loan and you feel yourself, if you're feeling that a eviction is on the horizon, or you have been threatened with an eviction. Give them a call. Maybe they can help you out. That's great information. Right on.
Yep. And that whole process is going to take a long time. You have to get so many months behind. Then they have to go to court. They have to get paperwork. They have to serve you. Then you have to appear in court, and they have to, give the whole evidence, and you get your chance to say your side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have to notify you X number of days, depending on your state, anywhere from 30 to 60 days.
Wow, before they
I think
can
there's
get you
one
out of
state
there,
that's
huh?
90 days
Wow.
before they can actually push you out the door. Okay. And then the police have to come and do all that. But it's preventable. There's safety nets out there. There are community resources financially, and there's also the VA itself has resources to help you either stay in your present place or get you into a decent place to get your feet back under you.
So when in doubt, you just walk into the VA or give them a call.
Yeah.
Or reach out to your local VSO. So it appears as if, let's see, we talked about what to do if you're about to be evicted, if you've been evicted, or you find yourself homeless, or maybe you have left a home that was not a positive situation for you, potentially an abusive situation or an unsafe situation, and you're looking for temporary to long-term housing. You can reach out to VA, your VSO, any of those things. Let's say you're not in one of those as dire a situation. Let's say you want to buy that first home. You feel like you're ready to be a homeowner. What resources are available to the veteran and military family that are interested in buying that first home?
Well, first thing I would do is, it used to be you had to get that paper certificate to show the bank and or your finance corporation, whoever you were going through for your VA home loan. The VA itself does not provide the funding. You have to go through your local bank. And then, so take that knowledge that you're a veteran, your proof of veteran status, take it down to the bank. Get preset as to what you're pre-approved, as to what you're eligible for. Right now, houses are staying on the market literally days.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround on that market.
Yes. I was joking around with one of my Marine friends. He had asked me to watch on the internet on my auction sites for an anvil.
Okay.
So I went looking on my auction sites, came back to him and I said, well, I didn't find your anvil, but I found your house. It's a mile from mine.
Oh, wow.
And I sent him a link. A couple hours later, he said, real estate agent and I'll start walking through it tomorrow. And I was just like, what?
Wow. And moving quick.
He wanted a couple acres of land. And so this is 5 acres. And, I knew what their desire was to move out of town. So, I mean, literally from my sending him the link to on the 5th day, he sent me, they accepted our offer.
Wow. It's happening fast. And there are a lot of rumors about, there's a lot of rumors about a lot of things that are connected to the VA. What are some of the stigmas attached to VA home loans? Because they're not allowed to discriminate, but the rumors are like if you have a completely all things equal bid with somebody else and yours is a VA loan, they might pick the other bid. What are the reasons behind that, and what's not true about those rumors about VA home loans?
And really, that's very unfortunate because
Mm.
if you've gotten that pre-approval, it's a bank loan.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, right?
All it means to the bank is if you do stop making payments, that they can come back to the VA to be covered a certain
Right.
amount. It's really no different than a bank loan
Then why would
because
someone
you are
discriminate
veteran.
against a VA home loan? Why would somebody see that as a less than?
Well, it probably was in prior days. It
Mm.
was more paperwork to get that loan. So,
Okay.
and sometimes actually, you may find that the bank loan itself is a little different in interest rate.
Mm.
Okay, what happens is they follow the average interest rate out there by the feds, and the banks go up and down, and the VA home loan goes up and down, and they pretty much follow each other. But sometimes they'll get a little out of sync, and they might be a 0.5% difference.
Right
Okay.
on.
The
Hmm.
bank is happy with the VA home loan. Yes, it's a little extra paperwork for them, but they're happy with it because, again, if you default, they've got
The VA
a
acts as a guarantor.
painful process of getting money back from the feds,
Right.
but at least they've got that.
Right. So
It's
so
just more
maybe it's
painful for
just
them.
prior iterations of VA home loans were kind of a pain to deal with, and so people didn't want to deal with it. But right now, those have been addressed. All things are equal, so there shouldn't be a stigma. Bill says in Wisconsin, veterans are not as protected class under fair housing. Oh, that's interesting. What do you do if you feel like, and you may not know the answer to this, but if you are a veteran or military family member and you feel as if you are being discriminated against on the basis of your veteran status or the fact that you're using a VA home loan, is there any recourse available to you?
No, you're just going to have to go through the standard process with everything. It's wonderful that we're veterans. It's wonderful that we served our country and did our jobs and everything.
Mhm.
But that doesn't always mean we're, quote, special.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I mean, there's a lot of police out there and a lot of firefighters and things like that really every day of their lives are risking their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
would we say that firefighters are protected? So, at some point or another, there has to be a line that we ourselves say, look, you've got the laws in place on how to
Mm.
file a complaint or how to, do things like that. And to make a whole new process, a whole set of different forms and everything else, just because we're veterans.
Mm.
In loans and housing and all that other kind of stuff, so much of that is state responsible.
Right.
When you're talking federal benefits, that's one thing. When you're talking state, why would you convolute your state government more? It's
Because it's not
already hard.
convoluted enough. We really, we gotta scramble the eggs a little bit more.
Yeah, sometimes we do cut off our nose to spite our face
Mhm.
because we are creating so many different avenues separating ourselves
Mm.
from all the laws and regulations that fall inside of our state. So sometimes even the state government says, look, we already have a process.
Mm.
Why are we spending money to create a new one?
So what about outside of the VA home loan? Are there any other housing resources or benefits available to veterans or military family members that you think are handy for them to know about?
Well, you need to think about insurance.
Okay.
And there are some commercial insurances that are veteran friendly, because you got to
So they're
have your
discounted or
house right.
okay.
And those are individual, investigate what's in your state, what's in your county. And don't stop at the first one. Don't say, oh, well, that sounds like such a good deal. I'll just take that.
Right.
So it's like anything else. When you walk in the store, ask them,
Hmm.
especially if it's a chain store. Well, when you walk in or give a call to the insurance companies, ask them, do you do a veteran discount?
Don't be so many people are afraid to ask for the veteran discount. Yeah, you could save quite a bit of money and you earn that. You earn that. Come
Well,
on.
Yes. And the way I look at it is, well, that just shows you how much profit they have built in,
Yeah.
that they can give you 10% off of their profit, or,
And they can still
and
derive
still
value
make money.
from. Yep, exactly.
So
Um,
you're not hurting them that much.
how many VA loans can I have at a time? Let's say I have a VA loan right now and I want to buy another house or
Well,
a rental property or a cabin or a vacation property. Can I use a VA loan
okay.
more than once? I
No,
already know the answer to this
you can
question.
use it more than once, but you
Mhm.
can't use it for non-primary residence. It has to be
Okay.
a
So you
primary
can only use
purchase.
it one at a time.
Yes. Yes.
What if I sell
And
my house and want to move into another one? Can I go from
okay.
VA loan to VA loan?
And that, yes, you can. And that's where you have to work with the VA and that bank,
Hmm.
because you may still have your home for a little while, but you're going to
Right.
be selling that pretty soon, which would, quote, clear your certificate. And
Mm,
again, that's why the paper certificate used to be such a hassle and a delay, and held time on making sure that the closing is actually going to happen.
right.
So
Interesting.
no longer having to wait for that certificate in the mail or anything like that. It's much more transparent to the
Mm.
lender and to the purchaser that you have a good backed loan.
And not for a rental property or a vacation property. You can use one at a time, primary residence only. Uh,
Right.
so that
Now,
kind of
there are
answered my.
people who will purchase a home, quote, flip it,
Mhm.
and then clear their certificate and purchase another home. And they may purchase more than 2 homes in a year.
Sure.
But as long as that certificate is cleared, it's still legitimate.
Interesting. That was a
As
dream
long
of
as that's
mine
you're claiming it
once.
as your primary residence. And you have to be careful because you get caught.
What
you
happens if
know.
you get caught? That's defrauding the government, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of frown on that a little bit.
They're not fans. The government does not like to be defrauded.
No, even
They
though they
can do
may
the
take their
defrauding
time
till they're
getting
blue
your
in the
money back
face.
to you.
What's that?
Right. They may take their time getting your money that they owe you back to you,
Yeah.
or they
So
may be willing to look the other way when some of their leadership forget to pay their taxes on a house in the islands, their seventh house that they forget that they own.
yeah, but if the
Yeah.
proletariat fails to disclose every little thing, they'll throw you in the clink there. Is that the term for that? In the slammer. Um, funny story. So when I was still in the service, I one morning woke up and checked my bank account to see that I had like a $35,000 deposit made into my account.
Hmm.
And it was from DFAS. So it was, payment system that the Department of Defense pays their enlisted folks through. And so I called around, and it turns out that I had accidentally been given a reenlistment bonus, the max available reenlistment bonus. And so I was like, okay, we'll just take the money back out. That's fine. I don't need it. And they're like, well, we can't do that. Okay, well, I'll cut you a check. Oh, you can't do that. Like the process of me giving them their money
Mm-hmm.
was, I had to jump through so many hoops to even do it, but they were relentless about, you owe us money, you owe us money, you owe us money.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know until I told them, but then they were on my butt nonstop. When they want their money, they get it. They don't make it easy for you, but they get it and they want it right away. If they actually
Yes.
owe you money, oh, they'll take their sweet time.
Yes, they will. But at the same time, that's one of the issues that veterans have with VA compensation, because
Mm,
it doesn't come on time. You may wait 6 months or even longer to get that claim through.
mm.
And it's 3, 4 years down the road, and you finally win a claim. I had a veteran who actually filed his claim, and it took 10 years of fighting through the appeal system.
Whoa,
And
goodness.
then he got his 10%,
A
which,
10% took 10 years? What
yes,
did
but
they did they get
he
10
was
years worth
proving that
of
he was Vietnam, that he
mm,
was Agent Orange exposure. Okay.
mm-hmm.
So that was most vital, because, it's well worth the fight. Otherwise, he would have dropped it. But he said, no, I need that protection in case I have to
Yeah,
battle a
yeah,
cancer
yeah.
or something. So he went ahead and did that. Well, when they calculated his back pay, they did that at 10%. But then they turned around and mistakenly started making his payments at 100%.
Oh, wow.
Somebody keyed in an extra zero.
To include the back pay?
No, back pay came through correct.
Okay.
Because
but his forward pay,
separate transactions.
That's thousands of dollars in difference between 10 and 100% compensation.
Yes.
Wow.
So this went on. I mean, he came in immediately at the first deposit and he said, "What do I do?" And I said, "Well, we're going to notify them that they've screwed up and take that money, set it aside, put it in a separate savings account or put it in some account that'll give you interest.
Yeah.
And you can keep the interest.
Oh, of course you can.
But eventually may come knocking on your door." And I said, "And it's a government, so it probably won't be too long."
Yeah, they'll get it.
6-8 months down the road, they went, "Well, we screwed up, but the process of doing the whole thing to get it back and reaccount for it and all this other stuff.
And now you owe us $50,000.
No, they waived the requirement. And so he got to keep the money.
Did he?
It was like $12,000.
Lucky duck.
Yep. So, but if he had not told them,
right,
and it had come back years later, and it might have taken them 3 to 5 years to find him, they would have said, "Okay, you owe us $97,000 today."
Yeah.
Or call us and we'll set up a payment plan. And in the meantime, we're going to cut off your compensation, no matter what level it was at that point, even if he had gotten cancer and was 100%.
Right.
Until you react to us and set up a payment plan.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been scary. So what are some, we covered if you're homeless, if you're about to be evicted, if you've been evicted, if you're looking to buy that first home, what are some other, if there are any, if not, that's fine. We can just, we'll pull the plug, we'll call it a day, move on with our lives. It's all good. But I know there are a ton of resources out there. Is there any more that you want to mention? Housing related resources for anyone across the board at the state or federal level that you've seen be useful to people that might be useful to people that are watching?
Yes. Okay. A lot of energy programs out there, heating assistance. There's Heat for Heroes and things like that. There are programs where if your furnace goes out, depending on your income and financial situation, they may put in a new furnace for you. And in Wisconsin, that's important. So, or replacement windows, a new roof. So all of these services are out there through your local services, but they themselves, because a lot of them are national, do have a separate veteran program. So if you're having plumbing problems in your house, your furnace or whatever, check those things out. And oftentimes your veteran service officer will know, what's available to you in your state or local, and of course, federal programs. So housing a lot of times is important. Also, I'm going to make a recommendation. When you are buying a home, if you are a first-time home buyer, they're going to have an inspector. And oftentimes that inspector is the real estate agent's chosen inspector. If at all possible, if you can afford it, have a inspector that you like, and or if it's going to be the other inspector, go along with the other inspector. Too many times I've watched people, and I myself ran into it. We trusted the inspector that for the house that we live in now. And he put down that the septic system was, how did he describe it? Old but usable or something like that.
Okay. Was it not usable?
Well, 4 years later, when it started to collapse.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh,
and
that must have been an
then
expensive fix,
when they went to pull it out in January of the year.
Oh no.
And they hooked onto it and started to pull it up, the walls actually fell in, and one of the walls had a tree root that was about 2 inches across.
Yikes.
So you know that was there beforehand.
Yeah, those don't usually spring up overnight.
So go through, bring that flashlight, talk to him about the different things.
Right.
And Bill was just mentioning the energy efficient mortgage.
What is that?
I'm afraid I don't know, Bill. So
Bill,
if
you'll
you
have
can
to
give us some more
educate us.
details, we'd appreciate it.
There are tons of. Is there a central location? Because I'm familiar with that energy efficiency upgrade thing. There are a lot of state level programs. I had a friend that did that. Submitted their, filled out an application, submitted their income verification, and got a free evaluation on the heat and energy efficiency of their home, and ended up getting a grant to get new insulation put in their house from the state.
Yes. And when it comes to things like that, I would contact the state, but I would also contact your local utility provider, your electric or your gas or whatever it is that you're putting in as far as an appliance or anything like that, or roof. Talk to the roofer. Often they know, because they want you to get that high end expensive one. So, if getting a 10% discount or being able to write off so much of it on your taxes and stuff gets you into that next level, they're not losing any money. You're getting it back on your taxes. So the people who are providing these services to you are going to know what's out there.
Right.
It's like
reach out, cast a wide net, far and wide.
Yeah. If you want to know what kind of engine is in the car and what kind of discounts apply, talk to them. And again, when you're a veteran, don't forget to say, do you have a veteran program?
Yep. Yeah.
But
is there a veteran discount?
That's right. But say it last so they don't build it into the price.
See, that's good advice. Well, is there any closing thoughts that you have about housing stuff? I feel like we could talk about this for a long time, but we do have to round third and head on home. Is there any other programs or thoughts you want to mention about housing and real estate?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're out there and you're getting close, you think, to a situation that's going to be drastically hard for you financially, start the process. The quicker you get some of your safety nets in place, the less stress you're going to be under. And being in an extremely stressful situation is a bad time to try and figure out how to build the safety net.
Right. As soon as you think that you like walk into the VA, you're saying, as soon as you have the idea that you could potentially be in a tough spot.
Yeah. And sit down with your Department of Human Services in your county or your area. Talk to your veteran service officer. Talk to the VA home loan people. Find out what your nets are so that you can choose the one that best suits your situation.
Right on.
Don't
wait. Good stuff. As always, incredible information. Jane, we'll have to have you on the show again sometime for sure. This was really, really good. If anyone wants to get in touch with Jane, look her up on LinkedIn. Is there any other way that you'd like people to get in touch with you?
That's probably the best place, because once they do connect with me on LinkedIn, I turn around and send them all the links and attachments to the training tools that I use. Right. And that way they have them for future reference and or to share with other veterans. I believe in exponential growth. I give it to you, you give it to two, those two give it to two, those two give it to two. And pretty soon we've impacted a lot of lives.
You bet. Well, you've impacted a lot of lives. Jane, you're a legend in Wisconsin Veteran Services, so we really appreciate your time and your insights. Like I said, we'll have to have you on the show again. Ask you to hang on for just a minute while I close out the show. What can I say? Jane always brings the value. So if you have any follow-up questions on that, hit her up on LinkedIn. Hope you use the resources that are available to you. You earned those resources, state level, federal level, county level. There's a ton of things out there. Google search your heart out, talk to your local VSO. Your county veteran services officer is going to be the person, the guy or gal that's going to know all the things that you need to know about the resources and benefits and programs and things that are available to you. Right. And if you're having that hesitancy, like, do I deserve to do this? Or like, I feel self-conscious about asking for a discount. Stop it. You earned it. You earn that stuff. Those resources are available. Take advantage of them. Come on. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 11:30 a.m. Central. I'm Adam, and this is the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Glad to have had you join us. We'll see you next time.